So good morning, everyone, and the budget hearing is hereby resumed. Committee Secretary, please acknowledge the resource persons and guests present from the Commission on Human Rights.
May we acknowledge our guests and resource persons from the Commission on Human Rights. We have Chairperson Attorney Richard Paat Palpalatok, Attorney Beda Angeles Epres, Commissioner Faida Maniri Dumarpa, and Executive Director Carmelo Victor A. Crisanto of the Human Rights Violations Victims Memorial Commission. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, ComSec. And Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, and our guests from the CHR, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning. I want to start with thanking all of you for participating in today's briefing of the Commission on Human Rights, budget for 2024. So I would like to thank again Chairperson Richard Palpalatok, Executive Director Jack is not here, and the other CHR Commissioner, Attorney Beda, HR BBMC Executive Director Carmelo Victor Crisanto, Chuck, and the rest of the CHR family. So today, CHR's presentation will show how they carry on their broad mandate with limited resources. While the number of Filipinos served within their budget is impressive, a larger pool of funds would enable them to expand and cover more vulnerable and underdeserved people, particularly those who have been victims of abuses by non-state actors. Although our Constitution protects human rights, the checks and balances we've put in place are critical in holding the government's accountability for its action or inaction and in fighting impunity and injustice. Having said that, before we hear the presentation of Chairman, let me just remind our colleagues of the protocol for today's briefing. So may I remind our distinguished colleague that each member is given 5 minutes for questioning or interpellation, excluding the response of the resource persons. And when you hear the bell sound, it means you only have 30 seconds to wind up with your questions. As part of a long-standing and respected tradition of the House of Representatives to accord preferential treatment to the minority members of the House and followed by the majority members in an alternative manner. So the chair recognizes. Okay. So Chairperson Richard, let us hear the presentation now.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Madam Chair, Your Honors. We respectfully present a brief presentation of the budget of the Commission on Human Rights. On this slide, first slide, the proposed So on this slide, we will show the proposed budget for the Commission on Human Rights as against the recommended budget by the DBM. As shown on the table, there is a marked decrease in the proposal as compared to the recommended by the DBM. So amounting from 1,924,000,000 as proposed, and as recommended by DBM, 976 million. Next slide, please. Next slide presents the Tier 1 and Tier 2 proposals of the Commission on Human Rights. So Tier 1 presents the personal service, operating expenses, capital outlay, and RLIP, while Tier 2 proposal composed of the programs and activities that the Commission on Human Rights would like to undertake in pursuant to its mandate under the Constitution. So the Tier 1 proposal is 855 million, And the Tier 2 proposal is 1,069 million, a total of 1.9 billion pesos. Next slide, please. So this is the component of the recommended budget as provided in the National Expenditure Program, consisting of personal services, 511 million, MOOE, 327 million, capital outlay, 93 million, total, and RLIP, 44 million, with a grand total of 976 million, Your Honors. As compared to the last year's approved budget of the Commission on Human Rights, we had a grand total of 1 billion. Out of the 1 billion, we had 958 million for PAPS. And as compared to the recommended budget, we were provided 932 million for PAPS, and with a total of 976 million, which signifies a marked decrease of 25 million or 2.56 from the last year's budget, Your Honors. These are the details by object of expenditures of our proposed budget. Next slide, please. Kailangan ko ba ito? For the highlights and salient features of the 2024 National Expenditure Program. So for personal services, 653 field position as of April 28, 2023, with a lump sum for casual or non-itemized position amounting to 12,346,000, which was decreased by 18,000 from the current budget of 12,364,000. We have provision for loyalty award of employees amounting to 405,000. Pension benefits of the 6 former commissioners or members of the 3rd and 4th Commission amounting to 16,744,000. And terminal leave benefits of mandatory retirees amounting to 8,988,000. For maintenance and other operating expenses, we were given allocation for human rights protection and prevention amounting to 82 million. Human rights promotion program amounting to 28 million. Human rights policy advisory program amounting to 43 million. For capital outlay, we were given a 77,750,000 and a provision for the procurement of 9 units motor vehicles amounting to 15,500,000. So next slide shows the impact without the additional MOOE approval. So for traveling expenses, it would have a significant impact in the operation of the Commission, considering that in human rights protection, our investigators usually travel in far-flung areas in different parts of the country. So with the decrease of the traveling expenses, our operations will be significantly affected. For financial assistance, there is a marked decrease likewise from 13,750,000 to 3,800,000. Well, financial assistance is provided by the Commission on Human Rights to victims of human rights violations. With the decrease, we will be having a difficult time and difficulty in providing financial assistance, which is very much needed by the victims of human rights violations. For office supplies and materials, there is also a marked decrease from 20,153,000 to 17,094,000. For trainings and scholarship, again, there's a decrease from 45 million to 44 million. For fuel, oil, and lubricants, there's likewise a decrease, 5.3 million to 1.9 million. And considering the aging vehicles that the Commission on Human Rights already have, a decrease in in the fuel, oil, lubricants, as well as repair and maintenance would significantly affect the operations of the Commission, not only in the central office, but more importantly in the regional offices. And for one of the highlights of the decrease probably is the provision for rents. We proposed our requirement for rental is 8,305,000, but we were given 7,205,000 with a budget deficiency of 1.1 million. Well, as what we want to note here is that the Commission has, in several regional offices, have no, do not have its own buildings. So we are relying merely on rents. And with the decrease of the budget on the rental expenditures, the operation of the Commission would definitely be affected. For the financial performance, as of December 31, 2022, the Commission obligated 99.87%, and this has disbursed 99.44% out of the total budget. And as of the first semester of the current year, we have already obligated 51.73% and disbursed 98.33% out of the obligated amount. Well, what we would like to highlight on this is that while we have already obligated 51%, we would like to emphasize that most of the activities of the Commission on Human Rights happens during the third and fourth quarter of the year. So we are sure that despite having obligated only 51% as of the first semester of the year, we are sure that we will be able to obligate and spend the remaining budget provided to us. And for COA compliances, we would like to emphasize, Your Honors, that the Commission has consistently received unmodified opinion from the Commission on Audit from 2019 up to 2022. And for status of audit suspensions, disallowances, and charges, we would like to share that the Commission has no standing suspension, disallowance, or charges. For the physical performance, for Human Rights Protection Program, the Commission has received for 2022 as compared to 2023 first semester. For new complaints, we received 5,901. And for the first semester of 2023, 1,100 already received. For cases disposed, for 2022, we disposed 3,292 cases. And as of first semester of this year, 1,728 has already been disposed. And for filing in courts or agencies, we have 534 cases, and as of 2022, and for the first semester of this year, 272 cases. IDPs monitored, internally displaced persons, we have monitored last year, 2022, totaling to 335,243 individuals. And as of the first semester of 2023, we have monitored 24,454 individuals. Well, to explain the decrease in the number of monitored IDPs, I would like to state, Your Honors, that the Commission last year heavily relied on external fundings in monitoring activities of IDP situations. And this year, for the current year, we have no more external funding. So there is a marked decrease in the monitoring of activities of the Commission on Human Rights. Also, in legal aid and counseling services, we were able to provide this service to at least 6,278 in 2022. And in first semester of this year, we have already provided 2,222 individuals this service. And for financial assistance to victims of human rights and families of witnesses of human rights violation, we have provided a total amount of 16,190,000 for the year 2022, and for first semester of this year, we have already provided 3,360,000, and the beneficiaries amount to 805 individuals last year, and for this year, first semester, 238. There is also a marked decrease in the amount provided by the Commission on Human Rights because last year, the amount provided by the Commission ranges from 5,000 to 30,000 pesos, depending on the nature of the violation. However, this year, considering the lack of sufficient funding to provide financial assistance, the Commission decided to reduce the amount to a maximum of 10,000 pesos for individuals. The Commission also provided independent forensic services. Last year, 40 forensic examinations were provided, and for this year's first semester, we already conducted 33. And for clearances and certifications, 1,240 last year and 779 for the first semester this year. For Human Rights Prevention Program, the Commission has visited jail facilities in 2022, consisting of 982 jails. For the first semester this year, we have visited already 517. And the PDLs given assistance by the Commission on Human Rights last year, 7,944 individuals. And for this year, first semester, 1,567. I would like to note, Your Honors, that this item, PDLs given assistance, is demand-driven. So it's only when a PDL comes to the Commission on Human Rights and request for assistance that we count our accomplishment on this. For human rights promotion, the Commission on Human Rights has conducted 1,512 activities with 87,213 participants last year. And for this year, we already conducted 761 activities with 50,349 participants. Also part of the Human Rights Promotions Program is the establishment of a Human Rights Action Center in the local government units, which the Commission on Human Rights successfully conducted, consisting of 169 LGUs. And we also are successful in the establishment of centers for human rights education in higher educational institutions, consisting of 47 educational institutions. For Human Rights Policy Advisory Program, the Commission on Human Rights has issued position papers, 8 in 2022, and for this year, first semester, 6. Human Rights Policy Advisories, both national and local, and region-specific, last year, 41, and this year for semester 18. We also issue situation reports. Last year, we issued 97, and for this year's first semester, 35. And community-based dialogues, 45 last year, and for this year, first semester, 18. And for human rights defenders ordinances, we were able to lobby, or we successfully advocated for the passage of one human rights defenders ordinance last year, and for this year, first semester, 2. So in relation to the eight-point socioeconomic agenda, for enhanced bureaucratic efficiency, so we relate it to our general administrative services. From 2023, 342,000, and 2024, 295, a marked decrease of 13.48%. On enhanced bureaucratic efficiency, there is an increase from 105 million to 177 million, or 41% increase. In strengthening social protection, we relate it to our protection service. We were given 351 million last year, now 303 million for this year. In strengthening social protection, we relate it to our prevention service. We were provided the budget last year of 28 million, and for this year, a decrease to 27 million. In relation to agenda on safety reopen face-to-face education, we relate it to our promotion service. And we were given a budget in amount of 90 million in last year, and decreased to 83 million for this year's NEP. And for the agenda on to ensure food security, we relate it to our policy services. And there is a minimal decrease provided to us for this year. We would like also to highlight, Your Honors, that there were several tasks and mandates given to the Commission on Human Rights, not only by the Constitution, but also by several laws enacted after the Constitution. And we would like to highlight the common gaps that we have already identified. And these are one, lack or insufficient fund for digitation and data infrastructure programs, lack of central office personnel and counterpart in the regional offices to perform IT and specific protection, prevention, policy, and promotion functions, incomplete manpower fill-up, inadequate funds, budgetary support for existing programs, like the financial assistance, jail visitation, international engagement, victim support, and referral, and others, and popularization initiatives on CHR mandate. And the need to capacitate personnel in the implementation of special laws. And most of the special laws which the CHR has to implement are unfunded. Just to highlight, Your Honor, we were given mandates under the following laws. Under Republic Act 9851, the International Humanitarian Law. Under Republic Act 9262, the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. Republic Act 11036, or the Mental Health Act. Significantly, the Mental Health Act has provided us a broad mandate with regard to visitation and inspection of mental facilities or institutions. And the law mandated us to be part of the Internal Review Board of Mental Institutions and part of the Philippine Council for Mental Health. Also, under Republic Act 11188, or the Special Protection of Children in Situation of Armed Conflict, as well as the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, which mandates us to give priority, highest priority to the investigation and prosecution of violation of civil and political rights of persons in relation to the implementation of the anti-terror law. Also, under Republic Act 9745, the Anti-Torture Act of 2009, and RA 10353, or the Anti-Enforced Disappearance Law of 2012, and Republic Act 9710, or the Magna Carta of Women. Well, the law named the Commission on Human Rights as the gender ombud of the country, Gender and Development Ombud, and we were given, we were mandated to perform functions on this law. And under Republic Act 9344, the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, again, also the Commission was given a mandate on this. We would like also to mention under RA, the Commission was given mandate or additional functions on the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act, the Anti-Online Sexual Abuse or Exploitation of Children, and the Act prohibiting practice of child marriages and and the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act. And Your Honors, these laws gave the Commission on Human Rights additional functions, but we were not given sufficient resources for this. That concludes our presentation, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Palpalatok. So let's move forward, and the first interpellator, of course, is coming from the minority, and I would like to recognize Assistant Minority Leader Marisa Maxim.
Magandang umaga po to our fellow colleagues and of course to the CHR family and to our guest. Sa ating pong OFW party list, very important po sa atin ang malaman po ang programa ng CHR for the OFW families. And I would like to ask yung ating human trafficking incidents wherein ang mga OFWs natin ang most vulnerable, most abused, na gusto ko sana mabigyan po ang ating opisina ng submission po ng inyo pong data about this. Now, under the CHR Human Rights Protection Program, you have a program of conduct of regular visitations in places of detention and rehabilitation facilities and preventive monitoring of human rights condition therein. For this year, 2023, the sub-program has an allocation of 26,514,000, and for 2024, a little higher budget of 26,931,000 proposed po sa ating same sub-program. Do we consider the low budget allocation for food of persons deprived of liberties or PDLs and the congested unhygienic conditions of our detention facilities violation of their human rights? That's number one. What steps the Commission taking to address this concern, Madam Chair?
Chairman? Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honors, Madam Chair. With regard to the programs on overseas Filipino workers, the Commission, one of the programs that the Commission would want to implement is regular monitoring of OFWs who were charged in other countries. And well, we would like to highlight, Your Honors, that in the past months, the Commission took an initiative for purposes of visiting or for the family of a PDL abroad to visit a Filipino who is incarcerated in other country. We also conduct legal aid services, and we are now, we intend to refocus and strengthen our human rights protection for OFWs to include provision of legal services to the Filipino, to the OFW as well as to the families of OFWs, especially on incarcerated Filipino workers abroad. Ano na nga yung next question? PDLs. On the PDLs, on the jail visitation of the Commission on Human Rights, we not only monitor torture, inhumane, or unjust punishment, we likewise monitor the situations of persons deprived of liberty in places of detention, including mental facilities, Your Honor. Now, what we are what we are looking at is the condition of the PDLs. So it refers to food, medicine, and other welfare of the PDLs. And we would like to highlight, Your Honor, that in the past years, the Commission initiated an activity or a program on the National Preventive Mechanism, Your Honor. It is in response to the obligation of the state under the optional protocol on the Convention Against Torture, where the state is obligated to designate a national preventive mechanism in the country. Now, that the initiative taken by the Commission on Human Rights is to establish an interim national preventive mechanism. And this INPM monitored several places of detention. Unfortunately, due to lack of funding, we were not able to continue the program. And instead, we focused on lobbying for the passage of a law for the designation of national preventive mechanism in compliance with the OPCAT.
Madam Chair, I would like to thank the Commission for taking the necessary step to prevent and assist our cases abroad, especially for the OFWs. Now, the question is, maybe there could be also a collaboration or a partnership with the DMW because of the Assistance to Nationals Fund, and they have the Action Fund also, to be able to work together. And also, is the conditions of our detection facilities a violation of human rights? Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to the partnership with the Department of Migrant Workers, Your Honor, it's just unfortunate that the good secretary, Tut Sople, passed away.
Yeah.
But we already sent a letter to her office proposing for engagement with the Commission on Human Rights on implementing programs to address OFWs, among which are one, human rights promotion, that is human rights education to OFWs, and our target is the pre-departure orientation seminar to outbound OFWs to promote human rights. And to tell them their rights and the remedies that are available to them, and to tell them that the Commission on Human Rights is an institution that they can rely on with regard to human rights, their human rights situations abroad.
Okay.
Your Honor, we are also exploring some partnership, not only with the agencies of the government. We also have a memorandum of agreement with the Qatar Human Rights Institution for the purpose of protecting and looking into the rights of the Filipinos abroad.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair, may we ask the good CHR, may we be given a summary report on the number of detention and rehabilitation facilities visited by the Commission in 2022? And what are the significant observations were drawn for these visits relative to protection of our human rights? Because for every visit, different angles, different problems, different issues. So we would like to draw from your visits kung ano po yung magiging magandang partnership natin with the OFW party list to strengthen yung fight po natin for their human rights concern. May we be able to be furnished, or you can answer that po, or we can have it submitted in our office?
We can provide you a brief details, Your Honor, but we can submit a more detailed
Yes.
report on this.
Uh-huh.
And as of 2022, Your Honors, the Commission has visited a total of 982 places of detention. And out of this visit, we are giving assistance to PDLs. And as by assistance, we mean legal advice, counseling, psychosocial services, case follow-ups, family communications, and referrals to detention authorities and other government institutions. And we were able to provide assistance to PDLs to amounting to, or total number of PDLs given assistance is 7,944 last year. Now, Your Honors, we would like also to look into the rights, to the condition or to the welfare of the PDLs who have already served sentence. And one of the target areas that we're trying to look into is the reintegration program for the PDLs, for them to properly reintegrate with the society, because we know that the PDLs who have been incarcerated for so long has no family, has no friends, no work to return to. So we would like to look into that, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, that's a laudable project and program for the CHR. And it's very true, after a long incarceration, they have no real family to go back to. And kumbaga, they are, it's a different world for them. I think the mental health issue is very important also during your seminars. Ngayon po, Madam Chair, the Commission has a locally funded project, which is a perception survey on the challenges in human rights implementation in the Philippines, with an allocation of 3,138,000 this year, 2023, and a proposed budget of 308 million for 2024. Is it the Commission that is undertaking the survey, or a third party has been commissioned for the purpose, Madam Chair?
It's commissioned, Your Honor, to a third party.
Okay, Madam Chair, I noticed that there is a funding for this project in 2022 in the amount of 2,955,000 apart for this year, 2023, and there is a proposed additional funding for 2024. What is the status of the survey, Madam Chair, and why is there a continuing appropriation for the same project each year? Is this a multi-year project, Madam Chair?
Chairperson.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I'm just... It's a continuing budget, Your Honor, to implement the findings and recommendations of the survey, Your Honor.
Having said that, Madam Chair, I would like to manifest my support for the budget of the Commission on Human Rights because we badly needed it, especially in these times of chaos and turmoil. Maraming salamat po from the OFW party list. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you
Your
very
Honors,
ahead.
I failed to answer one of the questions by the good Congresswoman. On jail congestion is a violation of human rights. Yes, Your Honors. Congestion itself is a form of torture. It is a cruel, inhumane, degrading treatment or punishment to the PDLs.
That's very true, Madam Chair, and that's the very reason why we were able to have a talk with the BGMP also. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm glad to hear the first support coming from the minority leader, minority leader. Oh, approved na ba? Anyway, so let's move on. The next interpellator is our independent minority, Representative Ed Salagman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and welcome, Chairman of the Commission on Human Rights. I think this is your first budget hearing
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Recently, the Commission on Human Rights issued a statement that it would be willing to cooperate with the International Criminal Court in its investigation into the Duterte administration's drug war, which resulted to thousands of extrajudicial killings, particularly involving impoverished and marginalized drug suspects. Do you confirm such declaration?
Yes, Your Honor.
And we congratulate you for such declaration. It's a bold statement. May we know, Mr. Chair, what is the extent of the cooperation you intend to give to the ICC?
The extent of the, thank you, Your Honor, Madam Chair, Your Honors, the extent of the cooperation of the Commission on Human Rights, the ICC, would be limited to the mandates of the office, Your Honor.
To be more specific, what particular mode or instances of cooperation you intend to give to the ICC in relation to the Duterte drug war?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, as you may recall, Your Honor, the Commission on Human Rights has investigated extrajudicial killings in relation to drug war before. And out of that investigation, the Commission on Human Rights has generated a report on EJK in relation to the drug war. Now, what would be the extent of the cooperation that the Commission on Human Rights would provide is probably, since this is a speculative question, Your Honor, probably.
Question.
No, yes,
That
sir.
is an actual question because you declared that you are going to cooperate. Then what is the mode of your cooperation? What is the extent or what are the parameters of your cooperation? This is not, this is an actual question.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Well, the extent of the cooperation that the Commission on Human Rights will do is to provide, probably to provide evidence that were already gathered by the Commission on Human Rights in the previous investigation. But since we do not know yet the details of the case filed in the ICC, we don't know yet, Your Honor, what data.
Why don't you know? It's an open and public accusation before the ICC against the culprits in this war on drugs. Do you have a copy of the accusation of the brought before the ICC by some affected victims and advocates?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, we would like to stress, Your Honor, that the Commission on Human Rights is not the part or not a party to the ICC investigation. We took no part therein.
That is given.
Yes, Your Honor.
My question is, you declared that you're going to cooperate. What is the extent of your cooperation? 1, 2, 3, 4.
As I said, Your Honor, the extent of the cooperation is to provide the data, probably, that has been gathered by the Commission on Human Rights during the investigation it conducted on EJK, Your Honor.
What else would you do to cooperate?
Well, pursuant to our mandate, Your Honor, we have the mandate to provide legal assistance to victims of human rights violation. So by legal aid, we interpret that to mean whatever a lawyer can provide to a client. Now, we also have, pursuant to our mandate, witness protection services, Your Honor.
Have you communicated with the ICC or their prosecutors with respect to the data you have gathered in your investigation?
No, Your Honor, not yet.
Have you communicated to the ICC your intent to cooperate with the investigation?
No, Your Honor, not yet.
Have you communicated with the Department of Justice your intention to cooperate with the ICC with respect to this drug war?
No, Your Honor.
In other words, your statement was a soundbite, a press release for media, and you have not really communicated to the affected agencies.
Well, it's not a soundbite, Your Honor. It was a response to a question provided or given by media men.
But in order to concretize your cooperation, you should first communicate with the ICC that you are willing to cooperate. And you have not done that. Will you do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you furnish a copy of your communication to ICC that you are going to cooperate with their prosecutors?
We will do that, Your Honor.
Then, would you also communicate to the Department of Justice and with the Solicitor General with respect to your intention to cooperate with the ICC?
We will do that, Your Honor.
Can we get a copy of that official communication which you are going to do?
Yes, Your Honor, as soon as we do it, Your Honor.
Okay. You are fully aware that the official position of the national government is not to cooperate with the ICC.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that body statement is, in fact, a challenge to that position. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you for your candid answers, and that is on record. Now, let us go to Republic Act 10368. Would you know what is this Republic Act? It is the Republic Act that gives recognition to the heroism and sacrifices of the martial law victims of human rights violations.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct? And then, in the provisions of this act, certain agencies like the CHED and the DepEd are mandated to give non-monetary reparation to victims. It is also stated in this act that the CHED and the DepEd should include in the curriculum from the basic, secondary, and tertiary education teaching of the atrocities of martial law and the heroism of the victims. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
As a matter of fact, the Commission on Human Rights executed memoranda of agreement with CHED and DepEd, among others, on this particular mandate. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you monitored whether, sandali lang, have you monitored whether the CHED and the DepEd have discharged their mandate pursuant to the law and pursuant to the mandate, pursuant to the memorandum they have signed with the Commission on Human Rights?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, we confirmed the memorandum of agreement entered into by the Commission on Human Rights and the other agencies involved in the Memorial Commission. In last few months ago, Your Honor, we already issued a letter, sent a letter to our partners for purposes of the implementation of this memorandum of agreement. I think the details of this MOA, Your Honor, for the implementation of the non-monetary compensation or reparation should be answered by our executive director in the Memorial Commission.
There is no need for that because I have a copy of this memoranda. But my question is, under that memoranda with CHED and DepEd, the obligation of the Commission on Human Rights is to monitor compliance with the law and with the memoranda. The question is, have you monitored compliance?
CHR. Yes,
Yes,
Your
sir,
Honor, we are, this is actually is part of our monitoring.
What is the result of your monitoring?
May I
Yes.
refer it to our director, Your Honor? Yes, Your Honor.
Result of your monitoring on CHED and DepEd with respect to the compliance to the law and the memoranda.
May we refer it, Your Honor, to our director for promotion services?
Good morning, Your Honors. The Commission on Human Rights has inputted in the Matatag curriculum of the Department of Education. We are requesting a copy of the curriculum itself, and if it has been really included in the curriculum.
My question is, what is the result of your monitoring? In other words, have DepEd and CHED complied with their mandate?
Your Honor, please.
Yes.
I think it's still a matter that should be implemented by the agencies, Your Honor.
Okay. DepEd and CHED, for your information, said they have not discharged their mandate. And apparently, the Human Rights Commission have not monitored compliance. If you want an augmentation of your budget, kindly perform your duties well.
We
Thank
will
you.
do that, Your Honor. May I say something, Your Honor? We will do that, Your Honor, as directed by the good congressman. But I think it is worthy to emphasize that when we assumed office, Your Honor, this is already part of the agenda that I personally have been pushing for. And as in fact, we sent a letter to the agencies, our partners, for purposes of implementing their part of in the MOA.
Can we have a copy or copies of these follow-up letters which you said you sent to the concerned agencies?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have been the chair for how many months already?
For 11 months, Your Honor.
11 months, almost a year. And I think that agenda should have been accomplished soon after your incumbency started. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Rep. Lagman. And just follow up, no? I know that during a pre-briefing, you mentioned about this education promotion, and you wrote a letter, but I think DepEd and the other agents like CHED also replied, no? Responded to your letter, or wala? Have they responded? Because if they did, then might as well also submit those response
program.
letter coming from your partner agencies.
That pertains to the curriculum, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. May I direct it to the Director of Promotions, Your Honor?
Yes, go ahead, Director Tom.
Good morning. We have been in touch with the Department of Education as to the integration of human rights concepts in the basic education curriculum. The CHR was part of the consultations in drafting and finalizing the Matatag curriculum of the Department of Education. As far as higher education is concerned, we have also been in touch with CHED, and we note that CHED endorsed, in fact, human rights education activities of the CHR. We have one coming up is a Human Rights Educators Forum, and the CHED is very supportive of it. So we will continue with engaging with CHED, and we will make sure that human rights concepts are in the curriculum. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, and I hope that also gives Representative Edsa Lagman an insight of what they've been doing for the educational promotion.
Since, Madam Chair, the Matatag curriculum was adverted to, may we know in what part of that Matatag curriculum is the teaching of the atrocities of martial law and the heroism of the victims of martial law?
Okay, well, no, that's noted, Rep. Lagman. Next, may I
Can
call...
we ask, Madam Chair, the submission to us of that and the answer to that particular question?
Yes, kindly furnish Rep. Lagman and this committee the answers to his inquiries. Next, let me call in the majority, from the majority, member, Vice Chair Fernando Cabredo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would like to bring to the attention before this Committee on Appropriation a matter of utmost concern: the alarming series of brutal killings that have been plaguing the municipality of Libon, which falls within my district. Madam Chair, recent news reports have revealed that from 2017 up until the present day, a distressing total of 69 individuals have fallen victim to these heinous acts. It is essential to emphasize that these killings are not merely isolated incidents. They represent a gross violation of fundamental human rights. The right to life, enshrined in international and domestic laws, is being blatantly disregarded, causing immense suffering to the affected families and posing a significant threat to the overall security and well-being of the community. Given the gravity of the situation, I kindly request that we seek information from the Commission on Human Rights regarding the actions they have taken in response to this human rights violation in the municipality of Libon. Thank you, Madam Chair, and esteemed members of this committee for the attention to this urgent matter.
Go ahead, Chairman.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, the Commission on Human Rights is investigating the incidents, well, depending on the details of the case, Your Honor. But there are matters involving the same incidents that the Commission on Human Rights is investigating. Now, we will just submit a detailed report pertaining to this, Your Honor, as requested.
Madam Chair, as I have said, may I know actions from the CHR, and may I know kung sino ang nag-imbestiga from your end?
There are ongoing investigations, Your Honor, and the personnel involved in the investigation is our Regional Office 5 in Bicol, Your Honor.
Is she here?
No, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, as I have mentioned, from 2017 up to present, there are a total of 69 victims. And I would like to inform this committee that out of the 69, I have never heard of any justice being served to these victims. Kaya, Madam Chair, may I know also from the CHR, if they have provided any financial assistance, if they have provided legal aid and assistance, or if they have given any witness protection. So, may I know also the result of the monitoring if they have done. So, that is all, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
We would like, Your Honor, to know the details of the cases. But yes, we assure you, Your Honor, that the Commission on Human Rights, immediately as it receives information on a violation of human rights, especially on the fundamental right to life, the Commission on Human Rights immediately deploys a quick reaction team to conduct investigation, Your Honor. And in matters where there is a finding of a human rights violation, the Commission provides financial assistance, Your Honor. But to accurately answer, to respond to the question, Your Honor, we would be submitting detailed report on the cases that the Commission on Human Rights investigated.
Madam Chair, may we know if it's possible from the Commission on Human Rights to call the CHR Regional Director in Bicol to provide the information that I am requesting before this hearing end?
We'll do that, Your Honor.
Okay,
Your Honor, please. She is. Your Honor, the regional director of the Commission on Human Rights is on her way to attend a-
Chairperson, I
yes, Your
think what the congressman wants is just for you to submit the report.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll do that. But I think the good congressman is asking us to call. But the regional director, Your Honor, is currently on travel, going from Bicol to Manila, Your Honor.
anyway,
Kaya ba? Plane ba?
Madam Chair,
She's-
since I already received an answer from the CHR chairman that he will provide me the information that I am requesting. So, Madam Chair, I look forward that CHR presence in the municipality of Libon and address the series of brutal killings in the area, and sana bigyan nyo to ng importansya. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, and further, you might as well ask the regional officer to directly coordinate with the office of Congressman Cabredo.
Yes, Your Honor.
So next, we go to the minority. My call-in Representative Arlene Brosas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I have a few questions for the CHR. No? Mula po 993 million para sa taong ito, naging 971 million ang budget ng CHR para sa 2024. Bumaba ng 22 million. Kaya naman may pagbaba rin sa budget ng crucial programs ang CHR. Katulad po ng present kanina, minus lahat. Parang isa lang yung single item na tumaas. Tulad ng Human Rights Protection Promotion and Policy Advisory Programs, magkano po ang original proposed budget ng CHR for 2024? Madam Chair.
No, for promotion. We'll just search for the details, Your Honor.
Well, you have here a 1.924274 proposed budget, Chairperson, for 2024. But it was slashed to 976,363.
Human Rights Protection Promotion and Policy Advisory Programs, Madam Chair.
Oh, just for that particular.
Your Honor, please, the last year, Your Honor, we were given 1 billion, 1 billion, Your Honor. And for this year, we were recommended under the NEP 976 million, Your Honor, or a decrease of 25 million. And as compared, Your Honor, to the proposed, we proposed a total of 1.9, Your Honor, billion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's the total, 1.9 billion. Madam Chair, simple lang naman yung gusto kong sabihin dito, Madam Chair, no? Napakalaki nung ginagampanan ng CHR, lalo na sa pagtatanggol ng karapatang pantao. Madam Chair, the proper time, I will move to increase the budget of CHR. Kaya po natin tinatanong, kasi alam natin yung halaga nun eh. Anyway, let me go on, Madam Chair, to my next question. Recently po, there have been several cases of enforced disappearance among activists. In 2022, the Philippines had the highest number of enforced disappearances in Southeast Asia. Nandyan ang pagkawala nila Elizabeth Loy Magmanwa, Loy Ador Huat, Elgin Mongcal, Maria Elena Pampoza, Lynn Grace Martulinas. Ngayong taon lang din ay may sugar worker sa Batangas na dinukot ng state forces. Nitong linggo lamang ay ang naiulat na pagdukot sa 2 kababaihang kabataan sa mga environmental advocates at community worker na sina Jonila Castro at Jed Tamano. Now, what are the actions taken by the CHR regarding this? Magkano po ba yung budget allocated sa Commission for the implementation of RA number 10353 or the Anti-Enforced or Involuntary Disappearance Act of 2012? Kasi magmamatter po yun eh, yung budget na hawak din natin. Kung wala, paano tayo mag-iimbestiga ng mga enforced disappearance, Madam Chair?
Your Honor, please. As mentioned earlier in our presentation, this law is part of the legislations where the Commission on Human Rights was not provided appropriate funding, Your Honor. But yes, the Commission on Human Rights is very active in investigation and investigation and protection of rights of victims of alleged victims of enforced disappearances, Your Honor.
Hence, Madam Chair, nire-reiterate ko ulit, kinakailangan talaga nating pondohan yung mga ganitong programa ng Commission on Human Rights. Madam Chair, on my next question, kaugnay po ito sa red tagging. Naging prevalent na ang red tagging ngayon at karamihan sa mga nangre-red tag ay mismong nakaupo sa gobyerno. Nagdudulot ng kapahamakan lalo na sa mga lumalaban para sa kanilang karapatan. Ano ang mga aksyong ginagawa ng CHR ukol dito, Madam Chair?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commission on Human Rights, Your Honor, receives complaints and conduct investigation motu proprio on alleged red tagging. But as a national human rights institution, the Commission on Human Rights sees it as an important function to determine the situation or the phenomena of red tagging. That's why the Commission, Your Honor, has a planned activity on first a forum on red tagging that will be participated, hopefully, by all the stakeholders, the civil society, and the agencies of the government. And from that forum, if needed, Your Honor, an inquiry on the on red tagging, Your Honor.
Kailan po yan, Madam Chair?
The forum, Your Honor, will be conducted in October this year.
October. Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, kasi po, naka-attend naman ako ng dialogues in CHR. Nagpapasalamat po ang mga kababaihan, lalo na doon sa naging dialogue nung nakaraan. Yung mga women's rights advocates and community leaders in Happy Land and Aroma, Tondo, sila pong mga naka-experience ng red tagging, harassment, surveillance, at encampment ng 11th Infantry Battalion. Noong nakaraang July 18, kung maaalala po ninyo, nagkaroon po ng dialogue dito. Ano na po yung update, at ang findings ng CHR kaugnay dito?
I'm just confirming, Your Honor, the actions of the Commission. May we just submit, Your Honor, the report on the update, Your Honor?
Yes, Madam Chair, oo. Kuha na lang tayo ng report, Madam Chair. Sana before the plenary so I can go through, over it para po doon sa Tapos, Madam Chair, siguro yung sa human rights victims reparation, kanina naman, in-expound naman yung sa human rights victims reparation. As I understand, noong ang mga MOA ay noong 2018, matatagal na, no, Madam Chair? Parang, what happened to this? Yung mga MOA na yan. So paano yung services? Kasi we have been hearing, no, according to the members of the Martial Law Survivors Hub, mga former chairperson po of CHR, former member ng Human Rights Victims Claims Board, yung mga MOAs daw have been established by government departments and agencies, pero there were no services given to the remaining human rights violations victims and their relatives. So, Madam Chair, anong nangyari dito sa ano na to?
Your Honor, I think that question was answered earlier, and as I said, when I assumed the office, one of the agenda that I looked into is this memorandum of agreement entered into by the past officers of the Commission on Human Rights and other agencies, Your Honor. And we tried to communicate with our partner agencies for purposes of implementing our respective obligations under that memorandum of agreement. So far,
Po sanang na-check talaga, no? Na-ensure yung services na nare-receive ng mga victims of martial law. Mahalaga po na siguraduhin ng CHR na maipatupad ang pagtuturo ng martial law. Kanina sinabi yung sa anong curriculum yon? Matatag curriculum. Akala ko ba matatag curriculum? Pero dapat kumilala yun ng karapatang pantao. So dapat po maipatupad ang pagtuturo ng martial law atrocities, buhay at sakripisyo ng martial law victims sa basic, secondary at tertiary education. Nang hindi po puro intelligence funds at saka confidential funds yung ginagawa ng DepEd. Pwede naman nilang ilagay ito sa
Kindly
kanilang
wind up.
curriculum, Madam Chair. Last na lang, Madam Chair, again, Madam Chair. Sa gitna po ng tumitinding paglabag sa karapatang pantao, malawakang disinformasyon, pagrebisa sa kasaysayan, lalo na ang panahon ng martial law, mahalaga po ang papel ng Commission on Human Rights at ng Human Rights Violations Victims Memorial Commission. Sa tamang oras, Madam Chair, maghahain po ako ng proposed amendments para taasan ang budget ng CHR, lalo na dumadami ang mga kaso ng human rights violations. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat to the CHR family.
thank you as well, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Rep. Rosas. That's another good good development. Another from the minority, no? Another supporter from the minority. Totoo naman talaga. Yung CHR, yung mandate nila, ang dami-dami, additional unfunded laws that were given to them, mandated laws, pero wala. Their hands are tied because of lack of funding and support. So, yan. Next to interpolate is supposed to be Deputy Majority Leader Marlene Agabas. Yeah, but she just told me earlier to manifest her support to the budget of CHR. Sabi niya, kawawa talaga si CHR. Oo. So, another supporter. Next, majority is Representative Mark Go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa mga kawani ng Commission on Human Rights. Ako po'y nabahala dito dahil marami pong unfunded na batas na ipinasa namin dito sa Kongreso at rineview ko po ito, more than 14 itong mga unfunded na batas. Mula sa itong Republic Act 9851 at iba pang mga Republic Acts na pinasa namin. At dito sa recommendation ninyo, gusto niyong mabigyan ng pondo ito, MOOE at saka PS. Ano po? Pero dito naman sa report, nakalagay dito sa report ng CPBDR, meron kayong total plantilla positions na 884. At meron kayong unfilled positions of 207 as of 2023. Kung kailangan nyo ng tao for these unfunded positions, bakit po hindi nyo ina-hire yung mga taong ito under your office, Mr. Chair? Samantalang talagang kailangan po ninyo yung tao at yung iba pang mga pangailangan ninyo. Hindi po ba pwedeng yung mga iba kasing mga responsibilities na nakatang po sa inyo under these unfunded laws, pwede nyo nang pa-absorb o i-subsume yung ibang function sa mga existing positions that you have, and at the same time yung i-hire pa ninyo na 207, ito po.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor. Well, ang Commission on Human Rights, so pag-upo ho namin, yung present members of the Commission, pinabilisan ho namin ang pag-hire, yung hiring process, selection, and appointment ng personnel. Kaya lang po, yung marami hong empleyado ang Commission on Human Rights na dyan nagsimula at for 36 years, Your Honor. Dumating na ho doon sa punto na marami rin ang nagre-retire. So, bagamat marami kaming na-hire, nababawasan din ho dahil doon sa pag-retire naman ng mga empleyadong datihan. Kaya kapag ganyan ho, ang directive ng komisyon actually ho ay pabilisan yung hiring process ng lahat ng opisina namin para lang matugunan yung mga kakulangan para sa pagbibigay ng serbisyo.
Madam Chair, Mr. Chairman, dito po kasi consistent kayo na hindi nyo na-hire ang less than 200 na mga empleyado from 2021, 2022, at saka 2023. Consistent po itong number dito. So, ang ibig sabihin, kailangan siguro hindi lamang ma-replace natin yung mga nagre-resign, kundi we have to look back kung ilan ang kailangan talaga. Kasi sabi nyo, kailangan nyo ng suporta in terms of manpower dahil humingi kayo ng pondo for the PS, samantalang meron o kayong hindi pa na-hire. So kung na-hire po ninyo ito, kailangan pa ba ninyo ng additional personnel para po ma-fund natin nitong 2024?
Opo. Kailangan po ng Commission on Human Rights. Marami ho talaga yung mga bukod doon sa original na mandato ng komisyon at nadagdagan pa ho. Kailangan po talaga. Ngayon, para lang ho ipaliwanag yung unfilled positions. Kasi ho, nag-end ho ang term ng 5th Commission noong May 2022. Ngayon ho, kami ho ay na-appoint ng September. Ako ay September, si Commissioner Faida ho ay noong January at si Commissioner Justice Zena Rosa ay noong March lamang. Ngayon ho, dahil ho sa kakulangan sa NBank, kailangan ho kasi ang desisyon ng komisyon ay ipinapasa ng NBank, ng kabuuan ho ng komisyon. Kaya hindi ho rin kami agad nakapag-fill up. Ngayon, dahil 4 na ho kami, at kaya na bumubuo na ho ito ng majority ng komisyon, binibilisan na ho namin ito. Ngayon ho, isa pa hong problema namin pagdating sa pag-fill up ng positions ay yung mababahong salary grade ng mga lawyers. Well, as compared to other agencies of the government, napakalaki ho ng diferensya. So madalas ho ang nangyayari sa Commission on Human Rights ay nagiging stepping stone ng mga baguhang abogado at pagka makakuha na ng sapat na experience ay lumilipat na ho sa Public Attorney's Office, sa Prosecution Service, or sa Judiciary.
Ano po ang, Madam Chair, ano po yung salary grade ng abogado natin sa CHR?
Ang entry level po ng aming abogado ay salary grade 23.
Ano po sa palagay nyo ang...
How much in amount?
How much ang salary?
More than 70, 80,000?
Around that figure, Your Honor.
Opo. Ano naman ang salary grade ng mga nasa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno kagaya ng OSG, ng PAO?
Ang
ano po yan?
pagkakaalam ko po, Your Honor, is ang entry level ay at least 25 or 26 salary grade.
Sa palagay ninyo, Madam Chair, Mr. Chairman, na kung gagawin nating 26 yan, 25, makakakuha kayo sa mabilis na paraan ng mga magagaling at pwedeng pagkatiwala ng mga abogado para sa inyong komisyon.
Kami po ay umaasa na pagka tinaasan ng aming salary grade position ng mga abogado at mabigyan din ng mga sufficient na allowance, katumbas din ng mga nasa ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, ay makakahikayat kami ng mas maraming abogado na maging parte ng komisyon.
Okay. Pero siguraduhin po ninyo na yung inyong unfilled positions, kung pwedeng ipilapan ninyo within this year para in addition to this po, napilapan ninyo, mga ilan pa yung kailangan ninyong mga tao? Mga abogado, mga iba pang mga empleyado. Based on your, itong presentation nyo kanina, yung mga unfunded na batas. Of course, ang pinakamalaki dito yung MOOE, yung travel, yung pag-iimbestiga, and all these things. Kailangan nyo ng pondo.
Opo. May details ka? Bukod,
Batay po dito, Madam Chair, ang inyong hiningi ay itong professional services. Outside ito? This is outside of the PS? O ito na yon?
yun, outside. Outside, Your Honor.
Outside to.
Yeah. Ayon ho sa aming mandato, ang requirement po namin for personal services pursuant to our primary mandate, Your Honor, is 29 million. And for unfunded, this is for unfunded, Your Honor, and for the CHR to perform its mandate under special laws, we would be requiring 1 million, Your Honor, for personnel services.
1 million pesos per,
Yes, Your
per
Honor.
month.
Or no, Your Honor, for the year. So a total of 30 million, Your Honor.
30 million?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yung pong nabanggit nyo kanina na napaka-importante rin yung digitalization ng CHR. Sa inyo pong pag-aanalisa at pag-aaral, magkano po yung kailangan ninyo para ma-implement natin yung digitalization ng CHR para yung reporting madali pong gawin at meron kayong connectivity among all the different regions in the country in the performance of your function, Mr. Chairman and Madam Chair.
So ang kakailanganin po namin for digitation program, for enhancement of our case monitoring system is 20 million, Your Honor. Then for other, tama ba to? Other IT.
20 million po isang buwan o isang taon? Napakaliit lang po niyan. My God. Oh.
Yes, yeah. For the enhancement, Your Honor, of our case monitoring system.
Wala ba kayong extra budget dyan this year to do that with 20 million budget lang?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, wala po. Kulang na kulang po talaga, Your Honor. Wala po kaming provision for capital outlay last year. Well, meron, kaya lang that pertains to our building under construction, for improvement of our IT, for our IT, wala po, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, I would like to request the Commission to submit to us yung talagang kailangan ninyong additional budget. At at the proper time, Madam Chair, I will propose this in the plenary para po madagdagan. Napakaliit lang po niyan. Kailangan nating tulungan ng Commission on Human Rights. Yung pong last na tanong ko na lang, tungkol po dito sa, marami po kayong responsibilidad na nandito sa mga unfunded mga batas natin. Ano ba, paano nyo ba, let's say, papasok kayo sa isang kaso, ano bang relationship or connectivity ninyo sa mga, or coordination ninyo sa other agencies of government? Kasi parang lahat yan meron kayong meron kayong involvement. paano kayo nagko-coordinate o kung kung walang coordination, paano nyo ginagawa yung trabaho nyo in relation to the other departments who are also mandated to do the same thing? Madam Chair, yun lang pong last question
Opo.
ko.
Well, unang-una po, ang Commission on Human Rights is an independent body. Ngayon, hindi ho kami parte ng ehekutibo, legislatibo, and other government departments. Bagamat ganun po, ay ang ginagawa ho ng Commission on Human Rights sa ngayon ay nakikipag-ugnayan kami sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. Nagkakaroon ho kami ng MOA. Sa ngayon, meron ho kaming MOA with Bureau of Corrections for establishment of human rights officers sa mga piitan ng pinamamahalaan ng Bucor. Meron din ho kaming ongoing discussion with other agencies of the government for purposes of the protection, promotion of human rights po.
Madam Chair, probably last follow-up question. Okay naman po ba yung relasyon ninyo? Kumbaga, alam ko po na independent commission kayo, you can do anything you want outside of the executive, the legislative, and even the executive. Because you are an independent commission.
Apo.
But how is your, getting the necessary cooperation, if you may, or support from the other departments who are involved in these cases that you're handling?
Kami ho ay nakikipag-usap sa mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. Well, so far, maganda ho ang aming relasyon sapagkat nagkakaroon ng magandang ugnayan at yung amin hong usapan ay nauuwi sa MOA or agreement. Siguro maganda rin na isabihin yung mga recent efforts po ng Commission on Human Rights. Nabanggit ko na ho yung Bucor. Meron din ho kaming efforts with Department of Labor and Employment to address yung mga issues na lumabas sa International Labor Organization high-level mission nung nangyari noong January. So meron hong ongoing discussion with DOLE on that para matugunan yung pangangailangan ng mga Pilipinong manggagawa naman. Ganon din ay may ugnayan din kami sa PRC naman, Professional Regulation Commission, para lang po for human rights promotion, may sama ho ang human rights subject as part of continuing professional education ng ating mga professionals. Marami pa pong iba na pending hong nasa usapin. Ang nais ko lamang din pong ipahayag siguro at i-emphasize na ang Commission on Human Rights po bilang independenteng ahensya ng pamahalaan. Ang role po namin ay to be a bridge. So we perform a bridging role between and among the civil society, meaning the people, the community, and the government. Kaya ho ang ginagawa namin sa ngayon ay nakikipag-ugnayan kami sa civil society organizations and other members of the community, NGOs, etc., and other stakeholders, and the local agencies of the government, the local government units, security sector po, para lang ho magkaroon ng ugnayan, yung maging tulay kami, para matugunan kung ano man yung pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan, at ganun din naman kung ano ang dapat gawin ng pamahalaan ayon dun sa aming nakuha base sa aming ugnayan sa mga tao.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. That ends my interpellation.
Thank you very much, Rep. Mark Go. And next on board is Deputy Minority Leader Franz Castro.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating Chief ng CHR at sa CHR family. So, Madam Chair, I joined our colleagues in supporting the budget of the Commission on Human Rights. And also, in a proper time, I would amend that the budget proposed by the CHR should be restore. Kasi 1.9 billion po ang kanilang budget proposal, tapos yung DBM nagbigay lang ng 976 million. So, no wonder kung bakit yung mga sinasabi natin kanina na mga mandates ng CHR ay masasacrifice. And in proper time siguro dahil wala namang yung confidential fund, yung intelligence fund, lalong-lalo na sa Office of the Vice President. at saka sa DepEd ay mailagay dito kasi 650 million yon. So dapat na mailagay dito sa mga mas kapakipakinabang at transparent na mga agency. Anyway, dagdagan ko lang, Madam Chair, yung implementation ng RA 10368. Siguro hindi lang po CHED, hindi lang po yung DepEd, DSWD, pati po yung DOH at saka yung TESDA ay meron din namang Memorandum of Agreement, so dapat maidagdag yon. So, the CHR should continue providing services for ML victims or martial law victims, most of whom na po are senior citizen. Okay? Kung babasahin po ang batas, Madam Chair, hindi apektado ng sunset clause ang pagbibigay ng non-monetary reparations sa mga naging biktima ng martial law. Dapat magpatuloy ito at dapat yung mga serbisyo at benepisyong binibigay ng DSWD, DOH, etc. ay hindi mag-lapse dahil lang sa tapos na yung period ng MOA. Okay? So, yun po yung tungkol doon sa yung tungkol doon sa RA 10368. Second, Madam Chair, may observation po tayo doon sa Human Rights Violation Victims Memorial Commission. This is a loan program. Sa observation po natin, loan program of HRVVMC, the HR Education Program will lose almost half of its MOOE. So, ano po ba yung masasacrifice, Madam Chair, dito sa pagbabawas ng budget dito sa program na ito, Madam Chair?
Yes, Executive Director Chuck.
Good afternoon to the honorable congressmen and congresswomen. While I have not yet presented the Memorial Commission's report, I'd like to show you the first slide of our vision. And this slide says that I actually report to a board of trustees. And the board of trustees are composed of the CHR chair as our chair, the co-chair being the NHCP. Also sitting is the chair of the NCCA, the University Librarian of UP, and the discussion a while ago about including in the curriculum of our education center the Department of Education as well as the Commission on Higher Education. I'd like to inform the body that this Board of Trustees was not completed in its presence since the new chair of CHR was able to assume office. The representative of DepEd and the representative of CHED has yet to sit in my Board of Trustees. And this may be a cause for your inquiry why the teachings of martial law is not included as a priority in their programs. So I think that is significant, ma'am. The other item is in terms of monitoring and putting to task the agencies who've signed memorandums of agreement with CHR regarding non-monetary reparations. It's not the role of the Memorial Commission to actually execute it under RA 10368. But we do support the victims, the Survivors Hub, and the other people who come to our office in this regard. But we can only refer because we don't have, as a Memorial Commission, the force of law to task the other agencies to comply.
Yes, I know po, hindi po kasama yon doon sa doon sa Freedom Memorial Museum. So, sabi niyo po, 'di ba, may cut ng 15.74% yung budget at 189.4 million. So ang tinatanong ko po, na-start na po ba itong itong pag-build nitong Freedom Memorial Museum na dapat ay matagal na dapat na meron, di po ba? So ano po ba yung update doon, Madam Chair?
Your Honors, in 2018, the University of the Philippines, through then President Danilo Concepcion, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Memorial Commission regarding the use of 1.4 hectares for 50 years to build the Freedom Memorial Museum. Part of that agreement said that the existing buildings, which are the community affairs offices of the UP, need to have some relocation because they were sitting on the property designated by UP as the Freedom Memorial Grounds. The Freedom Memorial Museum is on track. We should have actually started many months ago if UP complied with their end of the bargain to move their offices to the relocation sites that we had already finished and provided. So the delay is not on the Memorial Commission, ma'am, but on the obligation of UP to quickly transfer all of their offices to the designated relocation site, of which we already erected the main structural buildings for UP.
Well, Madam Chair, last year pa rin pong ganyan yung situation. So 1 year na yung nakalipas. So meron bang naging improvement or nakausad man lang ba tayo? Kasi yan pa rin po yung narinig ko nung last year.
You're correct, Your Honor, that this is the same problem that you heard last year, and UP actually has been very slow in actually moving, but they did await the entry of their new UP president by way of President Gigel Jimenez, and his new team has already tasked their entire Diliman campus to quickly provide space for the Memorial Commission. And in the last meeting, they committed that they will be giving partial way already for construction starting January of 2024, so that after we finish our Board of Trustees meeting this October 2 to determine the ABC or the approved budget ceiling, we could actually have the infrastructure works bidded out and awarded before the year ends, Your Honor.
Okay. So yun po yung Madam Chair gusto nating marinig na update. So kung meron pong maitutulong ang House of Representatives as regard to the facilitation po, for example, yung to meet the DepEd and CHED doon sa board. So sabihin niyo lang po sa amin, at saka yung kung meron kaming magagawang facilitation so that the UP would also expedite yung pagbi-build ng memorial.
Thank you for your support, ma'am.
Yes, next question, Madam Chair. Did DepEd seek the opinions of the agency when it was drafting the finalization, the recently launched curriculum for grades 1 to 10? So nag-seek po ba ng advice or consultation man lang with the CHR as regards to the matatag curriculum of the DepEd?
I will ask Attorney Tom Temprosa, Your Honor, to answer.
Go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. Yes, on the part of the CHR, at least the CHR, yes, we were part of the consultations and deliberations on the K-10 curricula.
So ano po yung mga naging recommendations ng CHR doon sa curriculum ng grades 1 to 10, yung matatag?
So yes, we studied the Matatag curriculum. What we want is, of course, human rights to be integrated into the curriculum. The legal basis would, of course, be the Constitution, and that the Constitution says that human rights should be taught in the educational institutions. The second basis that we found also is the Values Education Act. And of course, we also looked into several possible legal basis. No? We recommended, of course, the inclusion of human rights concepts in the values education and GMRC subjects, as well as properly in proper points also in the Araling Panlipunan. So we tried to input human rights concepts according to age appropriate, because it has to really be age appropriate, learner-centered approaches in both subjects. So doon po, ma'am, in values education / GMRC and Araling Panlipunan.
So, Madam Chair, so matanong ko lang saang banda, no? Saang banda yung recommendation doon ng human rights? Kasi hindi niyo po ba alam na yung Philippine history was not given a dedicated year? Kasi kung maalala ninyo, yung Philippine history, meron niyang dedicated na 1 year na discussion. At nakapaloob doon yung martial law dapat, yung pagtuturo ng martial law. So saan papasok ngayon yung pagtuturo ng martial law kung itong Philippine history ay hindi na siya dinidiscuss thoroughly. Okay? Nilagay lang niya sa grades 4, 5, and 6. And also, have you also look at the possibility of human rights violation sa ating mga regional sa ating mga katutubo, sa ating mga kababayan, kasi tinanggal, Madam Chair, yung mother tongue. And you know, United Nations declared that mother tongue is a human rights. So tinanggal ito eh. So ano naging recommendation niyo doon, Madam Chair?
If I may, about the mother tongue IP rights is really the focus there, at least on the part of the CHR. We try to incorporate IP rights in the curriculum. I can furnish you, ma'am, with the details, but most of the based on our study, to integrate the curriculum, most of the hard concepts of human rights should actually be taught at the primary level, and then many of them integrated in values education thereafter in junior high school, ma'am. So those are the points of integration, including also in history. So primary, and then also from grades 7 to 10.
Last na lang, Madam Chair,
Yes,
follow up. So, pero hindi pa rin po ako satisfied dun sa sagutan, no? Kung paano po nila tiningnan yung mother tongue, pagtatanggal ng mother tongue dun sa curriculum, kasi human rights yan ng ating mga estudyante, at saka yung Philippine history. So would you recommend sa DepEd, kasi nagre-revisa pa rin naman ng senior high school curriculum, would you recommend that Philippine history should be 1 year, have a 1 year dedicated subject, dedicated year for that? So hindi siya dapat na kinakalat-kalat yung discussion ng Philippine history. And also, sana ma-review ninyo at ma-recommend na sana maibalik yung mother tongue kahit man lang sa 1 year or 2 years na discussion nito. Dahil mahalaga, Madam Chair, no, yung pagpapaunlad ng mga regional languages, hindi lang po yung Filipino or foreign language na English. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Answer, please.
We will look into that, ma'am. Salamat po for that. Thank you.
Yes, Representative Jaime First Neri is recognized.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Chair and the family of CHR. My questions is regarding this Philippines ranking, World Justice Project Rule of Law Index, ranking out of 139 countries for 2022. The Philippines ranking, as far as the rule of law is concerned, is the Philippines ranked 97. For fundamental rights, 118. For civil justice, 104. And for criminal justice, 117. May we know your thoughts about this ranking of the Philippines, Mr. Chair?
Just a few minutes, Your Honor.
Okay. Where na galing to eh?
Your Honor, it would be very difficult for us to um, comment on this study, or because it's an independent body that conducted this study. But on the part of the Commission on Human Rights, we have been engaging with other agencies and departments of the government, and we are likewise part of the United Nations Joint Program to improve the conditions of the human rights conditions in the country. So that's it, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
You just respect this ranking of the Philippines based on this study, Mr. Chair?
Not necessarily, Your Honor, but I think
But,
we will have to study it further. Well, kanino to sa ito?
Mr.
yeah.
Chair, this
Yes,
is
Your
based
Honor.
on the leaflets you have provided us.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, it is a similar observation, Your Honor, of the United Nations that prompted the creation of the United Nations Joint Program to help the Philippines improve the human rights conditions in the Philippines. So we will look into that study, Your Honor.
May we know, Mr. Chair, the initiatives of the commission, your agency, to improve this ranking of the Philippines?
Well, Your Honor, what we can assure you is that the Commission on Human Rights is actively participating in the UN Joint Program. The Commission on Human Rights is a member in the 6th Technical Working Group under the UNJP to address precisely that kind of perception, Your Honor. Well, just to mention a few, on accountability working group under the UNJP, the CHR is a member of the AO35, Your Honor, under the Department of Justice. We are likewise a member of the Committee on ano pa iba? Civic Space, Your Honor, where we actively engage also with the civil society for purposes of addressing the issue on alleged shrinking civic space. We are likewise active in relation to the UN Joint Program in the legislation, or in the advocating for the passage of the National Preventive Mechanism, human rights action centers in the local government units, in police data as well, Your Honor, and in the anti-terrorism committee under the UNJP. We are likewise mainstreaming. We are active. The Commission is active in support of the UNJP, and also as an independent activity of the Commission on Human Rights in the promotion or intensifying human rights action centers in the barangay, as well as Human Rights City, Your Honor. We are also active in mainstreaming human rights-based approach to governance. And well, it's interesting to note, Your Honor, that in the last few months ago, Your Honor, the Commission conducted a human rights-based approach to legislation, where some members or staff of legislators were trained, were familiarized with human rights-based approach to legislation. Um, ano pa? Those are some of the efforts, Your Honor, to address that kind of perception.
Don't you think, Mr. Chair, the lack of personal manpower prevents you or hampers in the performance of your mandates, and that affects the standing of the country as far as the international forum is concerned, Mr. Chair?
Well, Your Honor, definitely there is an impact in the deficiency in our personnel, but it will, as shown in our presentation, that deficiency did not affect the performance of the Commission on Human Rights. In fact, we have been successful in so far as protection, promotion, and prevention services is concerned. Well, we would not want to connect our the performance of our mandate with regard to that perception, Your Honor, because human rights, Your Honor, is a principal obligation of the state, Your Honor. We only monitor, and as I said earlier, we are the bridge. We perform a bridging role. So it's still the government who is the primary actor insofar as human rights promotion and protection is concerned. It's not the Commission on Human Rights, Your Honor.
Well, is this not the reason why you are not filling up the vacant positions in your office, Mr. Chair?
Definitely not, Your Honor. As I said earlier, our marching order to our personal, our HRDD, Your Honor, is to expedite the filling up of vacant positions in different regions as well as in the central office. I would like also to emphasize, Your Honor, that in one of our pilot projects, it's Human Rights Caravan, where we visit our regional offices, among others. I make it a point, Your Honor, to emphasize to our regional directors to fill up all the vacant positions in their offices. So it's definitely not intentional, Your Honor.
But in our earlier discussion, Mr. Chair, with Congressman Marco, he noticed about this more than 20% vacant position for the past 3 or 4 years. And yet, and you mentioned the reason why, because of the low salary on the different positions. Mr. Chair, the rate or the salary grade for all offices in the national or local government are the same. For entry level, they provide the same salary grade. Maybe you have to review whether there are positions still needed in your office to respond and to respond to your mandate. And I believe, Mr. Chair, if you want to increase or to hire or what we call this, to attract competent personnel or lawyers, maybe we have to increase abolish the lower salary grade and change it with a higher salary grade so that you could attract a more competent and qualified applicants, Mr. Chair.
Actually, Your Honor, that has been done before by the previous commission. There were collapsing positions made for in exchange for additional positions. But as we experience it now, it is not a viable option, Your Honor, because most of the collapsed positions are pertain to administrative support, Your Honor. And because of the collapsing of these positions, we now experience deficiency with regard to admin support personnel, Your Honor, like drivers and messengers and other admin support. We are now experiencing that in the regions, Your Honor. We are relying on job orders for purposes of drivers. The solution actually, Your Honor, is to increase the manpower of the Commission on Human Rights. We are considering that, and we are exploring a means how to do it. One is to request the concerned agencies in the government to approve our plantilla, Your Honor. And also, one of the efforts that we are doing now is to lobby for the passage of a charter of the Commission on Human Rights, Your Honor.
I think the Commission of Human Rights is a constitutional body. This is an independent body. And I believe, Mr. Chair, that the reason why you cannot request for additional plantilla, it's because the record shows that your unfilled positions is almost 30%. I think better improve or fill the position, the vacant position.
Well, I beg to disagree, Your Honor. Failure of the Commission on Human Rights to increase its plantilla is not, well, although it is a constitutional body, it is independent, and we are supposed to enjoy fiscal autonomy, Your Honor. But in view of a case that was decided long time ago, there was a limitation given to the supposed fiscal autonomy of the Commission on Human Rights with regard to plantilla. So that's why the Commission on Human Rights, although independent and constitutional body, unlike the other constitutional commissions, cannot just create positions, well, because of that case, Your Honor.
In your presentation earlier, Mr. Chair, you mentioned about the reductions of financial assistance to victims of human rights violations from maximum of 30,000 to 10,000. With the increasing cost of everything, I think this is not justified, and I believe I would like to move at the proper time and supporting the increase of the budget of this commission, and I would like to move for the retention or for the restorations of the budget for financial assistance to the victims of human rights violations. That will be all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jaime Fresnedi. Would you like to say something, Rejoinder?
Well, with regard to financial assistance, Your Honor, well, it is a very meager amount, Your Honor, considering the nature, why it is given. 10,000 pesos for a violation of human rights is, well, should I say, insulting to a victim of human rights violation. We want to give more if we are able to, but as I said, we lack the funds for that, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Representative Bonifacio Bosita from the minority.
Madam Chair, thank you very much po. Sa ating lahat, good afternoon. Madam Chair, gusto lamang po nating malaman, from CHR, ilan po ang cases na hinahandle nyo ngayon involving PNP personnel?
Your Honor, involving PNP personnel, as respondent, we have a total of 1,966 cases, and that is composed. Involves a total of 2,208 victims of human rights violations.
Out of 1,966 cases involving PNP personnel, ilan po dito ang na-resolve na at ilan po ang pending pa?
Just 1 second, Your Honor. We are monitoring, Your Honor, a total of 202 cases filed in different fora, and those are cases filed in the Regional Trial Court, the Office of the Ombudsman, Prosecutor's Office, and in admin cases filed in the Internal Affairs Service, also with the Ombudsman and NAPL, NAPOLCOM, Your Honor.
So, Madam Chair, ibig sabihin po, ongoing cases itong mga to. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
Resolve. Ito. We have, Your Honor, a total number. What I mentioned earlier are the cases that prospered. And for cases that were resolved by the Commission on Human Rights, we have a record of, as of June 2023, 1,728 resolved cases, Your Honor. And the pending cases of 1,730 as of June 2023.
Madam Chair, kung i-rate po natin ang CHR from 1 to 10 as far as accomplishment or itong cases involving PNP personnel, from 1 to 10, ano po kaya ang rate natin?
Your Honor, candidly, I think the rating should be coming from the outside, from a third party.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Sa palagay nyo lang po, yung performance niyo to address this concern, ano po, from 1 to 10, ano po ang rate natin? Don't worry, Madam Chair, we will not ask data to prove kung ano ang rating po ninyo, anong rate nyo.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
7 or 8
Honest to
probably,
goodness.
Your Honor. 7 or 8 probably, Your Honor. Well, despite the limitations, the CHR has been doing its best to address human rights issues, and we want to do more, Your Honor.
So 8, close to perfect yun to perfect score. Anyway, Madam Chair, concern po ako dito. Una, nakikita po natin na marami nating mga kababayan ang nagagalit na at hindi na natutuwa sa performance ng PNP. Yes, retired police po ako. Pero pare-pareho po tayong Pilipino. Kung public service po ang pag-uusapan, hindi natin dapat tinitingnan kung kabaro o kasama. Ang tingnan po natin dito, yung tamang serbisyo. At interested po ako sa mga ganitong issue para at least mas mapaganda pa at mayangat ang imahe ng PNP at gumanda ang kanilang performance. At siyempre, para po ma-save, maproteksyonan natin ang ating mga kababayan, partikular po ang mahihirap. Madam Chair, aware po ba ang CHR doon sa statistics na inilabas ng DOJ, doon po sa conviction rate sa illegal drug cases filed by the PNP? Are you aware, CHR, Madam Chair?
Yes, Your Honor, but not very accurate details, Your Honor.
So aware po kayo, pero sabihin ko na rin po sa inyo, Base po sa statistics ng DOJ from 2016 to July 2022, out of 291,393 cases on illegal drugs, 62,061 cases only, which is 21% ang na-convict. Ibig sabihin po, 229,332 cases, more or less 80% po ang dismissed cases. We are not saying na lahat ay kapalpakan ito ng mga pulis natin. Kasi maraming issue po, maraming factors kung bakit nadidismiss. But kumpiyansa po tayo na mayroon diyang biktima ng pang-aabuso or maling implementation ng batas. More or less 80% dismissed cases. Thousands Pilipino ang nasasakripisyo at talagang nagdudusa. Hindi lamang po kasi yung biktima ang kawaawa at napiperwisyo, buong pamilya po. At alam po natin na hindi naman madali ma-resolve ang kaso. And based on these statistics, nasasayang po yung time and efforts ng korte. Para bang natatambakan sila ng basura, tapos kaunti lang pala yung kanilang makukuha. So sayang. So lahat, ang daming nasasacrifice. In line with the vision and mission of CHR, ano po ba ang pwede ninyong isuporta sa PNP at sa DOJ? At ano po ang pwede ninyong gawin para mailigtas natin yung libo-libo nating mga kababayang Pilipino, partikular sa mahihirap na napiperwisyo at nasasakripisyo kasama ang kanilang pamilya? Madam Chair, ano po ang pwedeng maitulong ng CHR sa issue na to para once and for all, kung hindi man 100%, matuldukan to, at least gumanda naman po sana itong sitwasyon na to.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. May tutulong ho ng Commission on Human Rights sa ating Philippine National Police ay, well, nabanggit na rin naman namin ito publicly, training ho ng ating mga kapulisan on human rights education. Pwede rin ho kaming tumulong sa mag-suggest ng revision sa kanilang manual of operations patungkol sa upang matugunan yung mga usapin tungkol sa paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Isa pa hong pinaplano ng gawin ng Commission on Human Rights, well, konektado ito sa inyong tanong, Your Honor, is that meron ho kaming, we will be engaging in a strategic litigation service kung saan ang Commission on Human Rights mismo ay i-consider na namin ho na kami na mismo ang magpa-file ng mga kaso on behalf of the victims or as a party mismo, ang komisyon mismo ang partido sa mga kaso. At ang tinitingnan ho namin dito, ilan sa mga kaso ay mga protective writs and filing of criminal cases on behalf of the victims as part of our mandate to provide legal aid services, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, with respect to CHR, kung titingnan po natin yung response po ninyo, natutulong kayo sa trainings, programs, and operation manual ng PNP. Parang, with respect sa CHR po, Madam Chair, parang marami pang mapipirwisyo at masasakripisyo. In line with your mandate, sa mandato po ninyo, hindi po ba tama na i-address na natin bawat issue, bawat kaso na nadidismiss? Hindi po ba pwedeng ganun yon?
Well, Your Honor, ilan ho sa mga ginagawa ng Commission on Human Rights ayon sa kanyang protection mandate ay imbestigahan ho yung paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Isa ho yan sa mga ginagawa namin. Yung ho nabanggit ko kanina on training and ano pa ba yung on training, karagdagan po yun na po pwede pang gawin ng Commission on Human Rights sa pagtulong sa Philippine National Police. may siguro ho maganda rin hong banggitin dito sa ngayon ay ang Commission on Human Rights ho ay nakikipag-ugnayan din sa Philippine National Police, particularly sa Human Rights Affairs Office, PNP HRAW, kung saan po pwede kaming magkaroon ng kasunduan kung paano magkaroon ng data sharing agreement with regard to cases involving violation of human rights involving police officers. Ganon din ho ay yung mga aktibidades na po pwede namin pagtulungan for purposes of human rights promotions and education.
Yes,
Your Honor.
Madam Chair, I agree with CHR. Maganda po yon, trainings, education, yung operation manual. But nabanggit po ninyo na nagko-coordinate kayo, sabi po ninyo doon sa Human Rights Affairs Office ng PNP. Gusto ko lang po, Madam Chair, i-guide or makatulong sa CHR. If I may suggest, Madam Chair, pinakamaganda po na mag-collaborate kayo sa Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management ng PNP. Sapagkat sila po ang nagmo-monitor ng mga kaso na isinasampa ng PNP. At nalalaman din po nila ano yung mga dismissed cases. And also yung pong Internal Affairs Service. So again, with respect to CHR, yun po ang suggestion ko, Madam Chair.
May I
Yes,
respond,
go
Your
ahead.
Honor?
That would be your last question. Rep, your time is up, actually. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor, for the suggestion. But we would like to share, Your Honor, that the Commission on Human Rights has already has an initiative to coordinate with the DIDM for case build-up against erring police officers, Your Honor. So there is an ongoing discussion on that, Your Honor. Or at least we have already initiated communication with the DIDM for purposes of case build-up against erring officers, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, if I may add.
Okay, just one.
Yes, Madam Chair. Salamat po. So with that response from the Honorable Chair from CHR, so i-expect po natin na by the next budget hearing, 2024, ito pong 229,332 cases. Hopefully, may makikita po tayong result kung ilan na po ang nagampanan po ninyo dito para sa mga kaso na ito. Yun lamang po, Madam Chair, and maraming salamat po sa ating lahat.
May I respond?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, definitely there will be a reduction in the cases, Your Honor. But I would like to emphasize, Your Honor, that the Commission on Human Rights investigates human rights violations. And the accountability mechanism for human rights violation is through filing of criminal cases and administrative cases, Your Honor. And it's not up to us to decide whether a case will prosper or not in the criminal case or administrative case. What we can assure you, Your Honor, is that in terms of human rights violation cases, we will expedite, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, if I may.
That will be your last question because we
Yes,
still
po.
have a lot. If you want to have a second round, we will allow you to do that.
Second
wish.
round. Okay, Madam Chair.
You
Second
want
round na lang
second
po.
round kayo. Question lang, no? Because you mentioned earlier that you might file cases, no? As recommended by Congressman Busita. But how many lawyers do you have and how much does it cost per case, to file this in court? Kasi kulang kayo ng pera, tapos magpa-file pa kayo. How much does it cost?
Presently, Your Honor, the Commission has 145 plantilla items for lawyers. Filled up, ilan? Filled up. And 109 filled up lawyer positions, Your Honor.
Okay, and how much does it cost to file a case?
Actually, depending on the nature of the case, Your Honor. But so far, right now, Your Honor, what we are planning to do is strategic litigation. It's strategic in the sense that we will just be selecting for the meantime cases of interest, of national interest, in the hopes that this strategic litigation will become a regular activity of the Commission.
Okay, thank you
We
very
will
much.
just submit, Your Honor,
Yes.
detail on the cost,
Right,
Your Honor.
just submitted details to this committee.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And may I call in our former chairman of APRO, Deputy Speaker Isidro Ungap.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to the Commission on Human Rights family. Oh, good afternoon na pala. We started in the morning. Madam Chair, at the outset, I would like to manifest my full support to the budget of the Commission on Human Rights, and will also try to help in whatever way the plans of some members here to increase the budget and try to look for other sources. Kasi sinabi lang ni Chairperson kanina, ni Madam Chair, medyo kulang talaga, including your expenditures for the filing of cases. Meron lang akong gusto i-take up, and I want this brought up to the Commission. I don't know if this already reached your radar, but there's a series of killings happening in my district. And although reported individually and separately in the papers, 11 ng IP leaders na namatay, indigenous people, namatay sa aking distrito in the past 3 years. This is in the 3rd district of Davao City, particularly in the Marilog area, ancestral domain-related problems. The situation is that kung titingnan mo separately, as reported, magkaiba. But if you're going to look at the pattern, isang tribu lang ang pinapatay. They all belong to the Matigsalog tribe. Tapos itong Matigsalog tribe, yung chairman mismo ng Council of Elders, pinatay. Yung pumalit, pinatay din. Ninervyos na yung pumalit ngayon. The group is scared, actually. And if you look at also the suspects as yung tinuturo na perpetrators of the crime. At the same time, yung mga nag-prosper na may na-file na kaso, yung mga may warrant of arrest na, they all belong to one group, calling themselves Bagani Warriors or Bagani Command. Yung Bagani Warriors or Bagani Command was created by another tribe to protect their ancestral domain. That's why tomorrow I will question NCIP why they tolerated this kind of organization. Because we all know that under our laws, only the PNP and the AFP are allowed to bear arms. Wala naman kaming NPA doon sa aming lugar. We have been living peacefully for so many years until na-create yung Bagani Command na yan. My district is the educational center, the tourism center of the city. It is also the, I would say, tourism center. Nandiyan sa aking distrito yung UP Mindanao. Nagpapasalamat nga ako kay Congressman Ed Selagman, who was the Committee on Appropriations Chairman when I was a first termer. He helped me fund the projects of UP Mindanao. Kaya hindi lang ako ang former chair dito, si former chair Ed Selagman. Maraming salamat, sir, sa tulong mo sa akin noon. Not only UP Mindanao, the fruits, the flowers are there in my district. Yung prutas na durian, pomelos, suha, they are all there, waling-waling, a very beautiful place. Nasisira lang yun when that Bagani Command was created. So I just hope that you would try to look into that. Kasi I don't know kung na-cover na ba yan sa mga reports sa inyo. So yun lang po, sir. I hope that marami tayong titingin, and I was really voicing out my I was shouting my voice for so many times in the field. So mas marami tayong magsasalita, mas maganda.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, in response, Your Honor, the Commission on Human Rights conducted investigations and dialogue with the concerned parties, Your Honor. particularly pertaining to this issue.
Yes.
We'll just submit a detailed report, Your Honor, for your information.
Okay. So are you satisfied? You have other questions?
Okay na ako.
Tapos na. Okay.
Yun lang, gusto ko lang makarating sa radar at saka sa jurisdiction ng human rights. It's very important kasi there was another killing last July 1. So I thought nung nagsasalita na ako, nag-iikot na ako, I talked with the AFP, I talked with the PNP, I talked with a lot of people there. I thought mag-stop na. July 1, may pumutok na naman. 2 IP leaders same, Matigsalog tribe na naman, patay. And the suspects almost the same group na naman. So yun lang po. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes, well noted, Rep. Ungab. And for the second round, the minority Representative Bonifacio Busito have 3 minutes for your second round.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Good afternoon po ulit. Madam Chair, alam po natin yung mandato and limitations po ng CHR. At response ko lang po doon sa last statement ng Honorable Chairperson from CHR. We do not expect na ma-address nila yung more than 200,000 cases involving police personnel. What I'm saying, Madam Chair, is tingnan po natin. No po? Dahil katulad po ng nabanggit ko kanina, we are not saying na lahat ng na-dismiss cases ay kapalpakan o mali ng PNP. May mga iba-ibang factors po yan eh. Kinulang po natin ang atensyon ng CHR kasi naniniwala po tayo na malaki po ang may tutulong ninyo para protektahan ang maliliit nating mga kababayan na walang kakayahan. Siguro po, kung may time po kayo, tingnan po ninyo yung mga iniimbestigahan naming kaso dito sa Kongreso at sa Senado para magkaroon po kayo ng perspective. Ano po ba yung gusto kong ipunto? Ano po? So, katulad po ng nabanggit ko, retired police ako. I love PNP, of course. Pero wag naman nating isakripisyo yung ating mga kababayan. In fact, banggitin ko lang, Madam Chair, yung kaso po sa Caloocan, yung kay Kian, na nakuha siya buhay, eventually namatay. Yung pong mga police doon na involved, dismiss, mga nakakulong. So hindi lang po yung pamilya ni Kian na nasacrifice, even police officer and their families. Yung sa Sariaya, Quezon, pinatay ng police, yung mayor, yung anak ng mayor, dismiss, lahat ng police na involved, nakakulong. Oh, yung kay dito, kay kaso po ni Jimboy Bayon, sa Nabotas, ako po, ongoing pa yung kaso, pero alam ko, madidismiss lahat ang pulis na mga yan. Makukulong. So, in other words, Madam Chair, kinukol ko pong attention ng CHR. Hindi po tayo bias. Gusto po nating i-save yung police personnel and yung mga biktima. Parang ang nangyayari po, nagsasabong yung kapulisan at mga mahihinang individuals. Now, ano pong concern natin dito? Nasisira po ang libo-libong Pilipino at yung kanilang pamilya. Ang bottom line po nito, kung hindi natin ito pagtulong-tulungan, pare-pareho tayong masasakripisyo. Hindi lang naman po yung individuals na biktimang napiperwisyo at nasisira ang pamilya eh. Even police personnel. So, pag na-address natin to, natulungan natin, huwag nilang gawin to. So, masasave natin yung police personnel, masasave natin yung future ng kanilang pamilya, as well as yung future ng mga nabibiktima. So again, Madam Chair, hindi ko po kinulang atensyon ng CHR para itong 200,000 plus cases ay inyong bigyan ng atensyon. Ang sa akin lamang po, malaki po ang may tutulong ninyo para harangin itong mga ganitong pang-aabuso at maling ginagawa ng iba nating mga kasama sa PNP. Yun lamang po, Madam Chair, and maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for the comments and recommendations, Your Honor. The Commission on Human Rights assures you that it will perform its mandate pursuant to the Constitution and the statutes which gave us the mandate, Your Honor.
Okay. Deputy Majority Leader Wilter Palma, although I don't see him here, let's call Vice Chairperson Roel Peter Gonzaga.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is on line with the questioning of Congressman Busita. He mentioned earlier the data with regard to the crimes, particularly on drugs cases, illegal drugs cases. He gave us the data that there is a 21% conviction rate and almost 80% dismissal rate. This is the data given to us by the Department of Justice. Now, Madam Chair, I would like to ask the chairperson of the CHR, please give us the data from 2016 to 2022 on extrajudicial killings, if you have.
Your Honor, the Commission on Human Rights investigated 3,998 cases involving extrajudicial killings in relation to the drug war. And those cases involved a total of 4,641 victims. And the perpetrators identified from these cases, there are a total of 2,256 law enforcement agencies or PNP personnel, and at 1,742 out of that cases involve non-state actors, Your Honor.
You gave us the number of 2,256 PNP law enforcement officers involved in the AG case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ilan po dito ang may dismissed, ilan po dito yung acquitted, o ilan po dito yung discharged? And convicted, of course.
Your Honor, for involving extrajudicial killings, only one conviction is based on our monitoring.
One conviction.
Against Philippine National Police.
Pending cases.
Pending case, Your Honor. Ito. Ilan? Your Honor, we are monitoring total of 202 cases filed in different agencies of the government, namely the Regional Trial Court, Office of the Ombudsman, Prosecutor's Office, and for admin cases in the IAS, the NAPOLCOM, and the Office of the Ombudsman as well, Your Honor.
Earlier, you gave us data. You have here resolved cases 1,728. Why are you not mentioning this one, Madam Chair? I would like to remind you, earlier, you gave us data 1,966 cases against PNP personnel. My question is, with regard to your number given just earlier, 2,256 PNP law enforcement officers involved, how many of those cases filed against them are now pending before a tribunal or court?
Out of this, Your Honor, out of the mentioned total number of cases, we are monitoring as I said, 202 cases filed in different agencies of the government. And out of these total cases, saan na ba yun? Resolved? Tama ba? When, Your Honor, just to clarify, Your Honor, we have, the Commission on Human Rights have received a total of 3,458 cases involving human rights violations as of for 2022, 5,650 cases, Your Honor, for 2022. And out of these total cases, 3,292 are resolved by the Commission. And as I said, these involve cases involving or pertaining to violation of human rights cases, human rights, Your Honor. And we have a pending cases of 2,358 as of 2022, December, Your Honor. Now, with regard to cases filed in court, meaning these are cases where human rights violations is determined, and as I said earlier, human rights violation is accountability for human rights violations is enforced through criminal or administrative cases. So, as I said, we have a total of 202 cases filed in different agencies of the government, which the Commission on Human Rights is now monitoring, Your Honor.
Okay. Out of your resolved cases, 3,292, what do you mean by resolved cases?
Dalawa yan, Your Honor, resolved cases means there's a violation of human rights or there's
None.
no.
Okay. So, it is very clear that out of 5,600 human rights cases, you were able to resolve 3,292. Ibig sabihin,
For 2022, Your Honor.
dismissed or filed in court.
Not necessarily filed in court, Your Honor, but there is a
Acted.
determination of violation of human rights.
Acted upon by the CHR.
Yes, Your Honor.
And there are 2,358 pending before the CHR.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And out of that, there are 202 filed cases against state actors.
Against police officers, law enforcement agencies involving
State actors.
No, Your Honor, drug-related, because that's the data that you were asking earlier.
Yeah, of course.
Drug-related killings in drug EJK in relation to the drug.
You don't want to call that state actors, therefore law enforcement officers.
No, Your Honor. Just to qualify that the data that I have provided is in response to your question that when you ask for the data or the number
Okay.
pertaining to cases involving drugs, Your Honor.
Okay.
Because, Your Honor, we have, aside from drugs, there are other cases being investigated by the Commission on Human Rights, particularly pertaining to women, children, and others.
Yung bang kaso na sinabi ni kanina ni Congressman Busita with regard to Kian, we would like to know anong nangyari sa mga PNP personnel involved in that case.
Kian.
Are they dismissed from service, convicted, or any report to that matter?
The Commission on Human Rights, Your Honor, found violation of human rights, Your Honor. And I think based on the reports, the perpetrators there were convicted. And the Commission on Human Rights, aside from finding a violation of human rights, provided financial assistance to the victim, to the families of the victim.
Isa yun sa mga example ng AJK cases, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Na tatanungin kita ngayon, sa tingin nyo ba, with these reports, data that you have given to this committee, sa tingin nyo ba gumagana ang what we call judicial justice system ng ating bansa?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, in fact, the Commission on Human Rights is part of the justice system. We are part of the investigative body of the commission of the government. So I won't say that the justice system is not working.
Okay. I will bring you to the Rome Statute in line with the questioning of the good Congressman Lagman. There is what we call complementary principle. Ibig sabihin yan, the ICC cannot impose its jurisdiction here when our justice system is functioning. Now, what is your take on that, Madam Chair?
Your Honor, it's a legal question that I think the Commission has no expertise to answer. But I think what is important to note is that the ICC already issued a ruling on that it has jurisdiction. So we are.
I'm not asking you whether or not the ICC is imposing its jurisdiction on our state or the Philippine state. My question is this to you, Mr. Chairperson, CHR. Sabi mo kanina, gumagana ang batas natin dito. Sabi naman ni Rome Statute, pwede lang silang pumasok rito if in the event we failed. Our justice system failed. Sabi mo kanina, ito yung resulta ng datos. Sa AJK, ito yung sinabi mo, 5,000 plus cases acted upon by the CHR, and there are so many cases pending before you that I ask you whether or not our judicial system is functioning here. Ang sagot mo, yes. My question is, what is your take on the complementary principle that is provided for under the Rome Statute?
Actually, Your Honor, the non-functioning of the justice system in the country is only one of the grounds for the ICC to take cognizance of a case. There are other grounds where the ICC can take cognizance of the case and exercise its jurisdiction.
And what are those?
Your Honor, well, one is the willingness of the government or the state to investigate or prosecute cases within the jurisdiction of the ICC.
Okay. In the event, I do not know what is the stand of this administration, in the event the administration, incumbent administration would say, we will not recognize the jurisdiction of ICC. Or the administration would say, we will recognize the jurisdiction of ICC. Two probabilities. I'll bring you to one probability. What if this administration would recognize ICC? Then, you have answered, you will cooperate, right? That was your answer earlier. What if the other way around? The administration would say, we will not recognize the jurisdiction of the ICC because the judicial system in the Philippines is very well functioning. My question is, what would be your stand?
Yeah, Your Honor, I think our stand is not qualified. So we will perform the mandate of the office of the Commission on Human Rights as an independent agency of the constitutional office, Your Honor, pursuant to its mandate of to protect and promote and prevent human rights violation. And I think if that entails coordination with the agencies of the government or other agencies or other organizations, we would perform that mandate, Your Honor, as an independent body, Your Honor.
Last question. I am pretty sure you are aware of the Pangilinan versus Cayetano case. What is the effect on that ruling of the Supreme Court with regard to the mandate and function of the CHR?
Rep, can you give a brief background of the case to make this, to move?
The case was filed by Senator Kiko Pangilinan together with the senators questioning the withdrawal of the former president from the Room Statute. That's exactly the question there. Madam Chair, if I would suggest the chairperson of the CHR would write and made his position paper on that matter and submit it to this committee as well as to this representation. Thank you.
We will do that, Your Honor.
Is that your last question, Rep. Gonzaga?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, for the second round, we have Rep. and former APRO Chair, Ed Seligman.
For the information of the CHR and our members, that case of Pangilinan versus Cayetano et al., the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, ruled that despite the withdrawal of the Philippines from the Room Statute, the ICC has jurisdiction over the cases filed because the withdrawal did not take effect immediately. It took effect 1 year after the withdrawal was filed, and that is pursuant to the provisions of the Rome Statute. So the stance of the government of not cooperating with the ICC is in direct contradiction to this Supreme Court decision. And the position of the CHR to cooperate with the ICC is consistent with the Supreme Court decision. Now, on complementarity, the ICC would desist from taking jurisdiction if the judicial system in the country of the respondent is functioning with respect to the culprits. It is not the general judicial system which is at issue with respect to the principal culprits and cohorts. In the case of the drug war, it is of public notice that the Philippine courts have not taken jurisdiction of the principal culprit and his cohorts. Consequently, complementarity cannot be invoked. Now, you mentioned earlier, Commission Chairman, that you have conducted studies, or the CHR, even before your term, conducted studies on this Duterte drug war. And you also undertook to submit the findings and results of your investigations to the ICC. Is that correct?
If requested, Your Honor.
If requested, I thought you were
not
going
yet,
to
not yet,
voluntarily
Your Honor.
submit because you want to cooperate with the ICC.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was the background of your answer. Now, may we be furnished also copies, a consolidated findings and reports on your investigation on the Duterte drug war?
Your Honor, the report is published in the website, and we already provided that to different agencies of the government.
And just provide us again.
Yes, Your Honor.
We
We'll do
don't
that,
have
Your
to search your website.
Yes, Your Honor.
Give
We'll
us
do
a
that, Your
copy.
Honor.
The one that you're also going to submit to the ICC.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, since 1987, Madam Chair, or almost 30 years ago, I have been consistent in my advocacy for human rights and support for the budget of the Commission. Now, to entitle you to your requested augmentation, kindly submit to the committee the items of expenditure you want to be augmented and your justification, and the totality of the augmentation you would like to get. Can we get that from you soonest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I join the rest in supporting the budget of the Commission on Human Rights, as I have done invariably during the past 3 decades.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. We know that Representative Edsel Lagman has always been a human rights defender ever since.
For the record, Madam Chair, I am the author of the triumvirate of human rights legislation on anti-torture, disappearance, and the compensation and recognition of human rights victims during martial law, in addition to the law which abolished the death penalty.
So for our last interpellator, we have Senior Vice Chair Stella Kimbo.
Oh, yes, okay. Just one quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
So you have a budget for confidential funds, is that correct, for 2023,
Yes, Your Honor.
amounting to?
1 million.
And what's your obligation rate for that?
Ano? 100%, Your Honor.
As of now?
No. For 50%, Your Honor, as of June.
Okay. And for 2023, you also had a 1 million budget. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was also fully utilized.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Not yet. For 2023.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
For 2022, yes, Your Honor, fully
yes,
utilized.
So fully utilized for the previous year.
Yes, fully utilized, Your Honor.
Okay. In previous years, I believe that you had a higher budget. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when was this?
20. It's a long time ago, Your Honor.
Was that in 2020?
Several years ago.
Can you find out?
No. 20. Yung mas mataas. Hindi, yung mas mataas. Kailan yung mas mataas?
When was the last time?
5 million yun.
Can you confirm that in 2020 you had a budget of 5 million pesos?
I think for the last 5 years, Your Honor, we have 1 M.
Can you confirm that in 2020 you had a budget of 5 million pesos?
But we have offered to the COVID.
Hindi. Confirm nga, meron. Yes, Your Honor, there was a provision.
And in 2020, what was the utilization rate for that fund? Sorry, 2019 pala. Can you confirm that in 2019, the budget was 5 million pesos?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have to consult because we were not yet there yet. 2019. Yes, Your Honor, but
Yeah, in short, when it was much higher than 1 million pesos, I would like to know how well you used it, right? So in short, gusto natin malaman kung yung 1 million pesos ngayon ay kulang na kulang. Yes, so pakitignan lang po yung records natin.
Kaya ba? It was provided in 2020, Your Honor.
The 5 million peso budget.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was your utilization rate in 2020?
100%? 100%, Your Honor.
Okay. So this is your chance, Chair. If you feel like there's a need to augment that particular budget item, You have the floor, sir.
Yes, of course, Your Honor. Well, we have the mandate to protect, prevent violation, and promote human rights. And among the most important mandate of the Commission is to investigate human rights violation involving civil and political rights. And as an investigative body, it is surprising that the Commission is allocated a very minimal amount for confidential fund. And how can we effectively provide that service aside from investigating? We are also doing victim support and referral system, and part of this is witness protection, Your Honor. So confidential fund, Your Honor, is very much needed by the Commission, Your Honor. And we hope that the committee, the chairman, and the members, and your honors would consider providing such allocation to the Commission, Your Honor.
Yes, and could you include that in your wish list to be submitted to the committee and Congressman Ed Salagman? And maybe just a final rejoinder to that. In the last, so since 2020, was there any notice of disallowance from COA for this particular fund?
There's no notice of disallowance, Your Honor. The Commission has consistently received a rating of unqualified from the Commission, from the COA.
All right, thank you. That will be all, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Rep. Lagman.
Let me congratulate the Commission on Human Rights in not joining the official avarice for confidential funds. I think between the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President, your mission is more germane in availing of a reasonable amount of confidential funds.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
For the second round, we have Rep. No, sorry. May sasabihin kayo? Second round, okay. Vice Chair Roel Gonzaga is recognized.
Thank you. Madam Chair, this commission is an independent commission. In fact, it is a constitutional created body under the Constitution. Now, this office existed since the Constitution existed. Now, you've been there while I was a student. My question is, sa nandyan yung CHR, I know your power under the Constitution. You can investigate on its own.
Yes, Your Honor.
May investigasyon ba kayo with regard to cases that could be filed against the former president?
We have nothing on record yet, Your Honor.
Second, yung kaso na na-file doon sa ICC, it was filed by Attorney Sabio and the former Senator Trillanes. Tanong ko po sa inyo, were you informed by the two when they filed cases before the ICC against the former president?
No, Your Honor.
And
we took no part in the filing of the case.
There is no record that bear with regard to that, should I say, information given to you by those complainants before the ICC?
No, Your Honor.
Tanong, Madam Chair, ano kaya ang rason? Bakit nag-file sila doon sa ICC, not in this jurisdiction?
Well, personally, Your Honor, I can't answer that because I don't know why the complainants did not choose the Commission on Human Rights. But, well, it's a public undertaking by the Commission that the Commission is investigating these types of cases. But we cannot answer for the complainants why they choose the other from us.
Last question. Kung nag-coordinate sila sa CHR and the CHR decided to file the case before this jurisdiction, pwede bang may kaso dito sa Pilipinas?
Definitely, yes, Your Honor.
And it is the discretion of those who filed na ifa-file nila yung kaso doon sa ICC, not here.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Despite their knowledge that there was this Republic Act 9851 that was approved in 2009.
Yes, Your Honor.
That would be all, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Lastly, Madam Chair, I love
Yes.
human rights.
Okay.
Thank you, Your
Oh,
Honor.
palakpakan naman.
Yes, yes, yes.
Rep. Lagman, you wanted to say something?
The initiation of a case can either be made by the private complainant or by the public prosecutor. Is it that?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the case of these extrajudicial killings in connection with the Duterte drug war, the complainants went to the ICC because crimes against humanity are under the Rome Statute. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
But common crimes like killing, murder, kidnapping, etc., can also be filed before the domestic forum. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor.
And principally, that is the obligation of the public prosecutor, is it not?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the public prosecutor has not filed any case against President Duterte and his cohorts with respect to this drug war.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we ask the Vice Chair to terminate, I would like to thank, of course, all the members of Congress for sincerely, for endorsing, not only supporting the budget of CHR, but endorsing strongly the augmentation of the CHR funds. So thank you very much, and hopefully we know that CHR has been doing their job. The unmodified opinion from the Commission on Audit since 2019 up to the present. That's really something, no? And so, Senior Vice Chair. Okay, Rep. Peter.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to terminate the budget briefing of the Commission on Human Rights.
Second.
Budget hearing.
So do I hear a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
So it has been moved and seconded. The motion is approved. And the
Thank you.
budget hearing is hereby suspended.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. On behalf of the men and women of the Commission on Human Rights, our heartfelt gratitude, Your Honor.